Week 2 of the fantasy football season. Here's a few tight ends I have as sleeper options this week. The first guy, Tyler Conklin of the New York Jets. Tyler Conklin last season actually had some decent fantasy value when he was with the Minnesota Vikings. But right here in Week 1, he had a pretty decent ball game in terms of PPR. 4 catches, 16 yards, a touchdown on 7 targets. So we know the Jets have him and CJ Uzomah as their 2 top tight ends over there in New York. But right here was Conklin in Week 1 that obviously got the targets and scored the touchdown in that ball game. But Uzomah, he's questionable in this one with a hamstring injury. And right now, I just think Tyler Conklin is the number 1 tight end over there in New York. And right here, they got the Week 2 matchup versus the Cleveland Browns. A ball game where I think the Jets are going to be trailing early and they're going to have to throw the football a lot. And I had Corey Davis as a sleeper option at wide receiver after coming off a good game. And like I said, Tyler Conklin, he made some plays last season, and I think he can make a few plays in this one. So if you're desperate at tight end and need an option this week, Tyler Conklin, he's available in tons of fantasy leagues at 98%, and he's definitely a sleeper this week. The next guy is O.J. Howard of the Houston Texans. Week 1 versus the Colts, 2 catches, 38 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And right here, Week 2 with Denver, I expect this Texan team to be trailing early in this one where they're going to have to throw the football a ton. And O.J. Howard, he's still a big target and still a guy that could go out there and make plays. But I know it was a fluky Week 1, 2 targets with 2 catches and 2 touchdowns in that one. But obviously, the Texans just signed him last week, right before Week 1. He's still got to learn the playbook. And I think we're going to see more snaps this week than we did last week from O.J. Howard. And like I said, they need a big body at the red zone. Davis Mills hit him twice, and I think at Denver he has a decent ball game and could be a good sleeper option this week. And the third and final tight end I have his sleeper option this week is Noah Fant of the Seattle Seahawks. As the Seahawks won a surprising ball game in Week 1 where Russell Wilson's return to Seattle, beating the Broncos 17-16, and Geno Smith had a good rapport with his tight ends. I know Will Disley and Parkinson scored a touchdown in that one, but Noah Fant, I still think, is the most talented tight end on that roster. And right now, he's available at 85% of fantasy leagues. So in Week 1, 3 catches, 16 yards, and 4 targets. But only in the deeper leagues, I would recommend here Noah Fant as a sleeper. The other 2 guys I would actually have ahead of him in priority if you're looking for a tight end option to be a sleeper. But I think Fant in this one will get more targets. I think we're going to see more snaps. And like I said, Geno Smith likes targeting the tight ends a lot, like we saw in Week 1. And they're going to play a lot of 3 and 4 tight ends scrambled in and out of the lineup is the Seattle team. So right here, I think Fant could have a decent ball game. And the way the game script could go at San Francisco, they might have to throw a ton. So that's a few tight ends I have as sleepers here for Week 2 of the fantasy football season.